Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Win and Bet Picks. My name is Gio, and I'm here alongside Luca. And today we'll be looking at some of the top matches in Week 14 of the 2020 NFL season. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like on this video and show your support by clicking on the subscribe button. You can also find that in the bottom right-hand corner of this video. It definitely means a lot of us and encourages us to make more and more content. Before we get started in this one, Luca, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jill. Thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, and of course, unfortunately, we had a losing pick yesterday. Like we always do, we are completely transparent with our results. We had predicted Chelsea money line yesterday, but unfortunately, they lost their game against Everton. So we picked up a loss there, but still positive on the week. Currently sitting at a 7-4 record, and we'll be looking to end on a high note here on NFL Sunday. There's two games we'll be looking at today. The first one will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Minnesota Vikings, and then we'll also look at the Sunday night football matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's get into the early game first. Things first here, Luca. Of course, the Vikings traveling to Tampa Bay in this one, and lately they've been getting the results going their way. Of course, winning four out of their last five matches. The only loss came against the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, but they did win some very, very close games recently against both the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers. Their chances of making the playoffs are quite slim at this moment of the season, but nothing's set in stone until the very last game. And they're playing against the Tampa Bay side that unfortunately lost their last two games against both the Chiefs and the Rams, and them too. They've been featuring in very close encounters. However, Brady has had some trouble as of late. Lots of criticism going his way, I have to say, especially the way he has performed and led his team. Didn't look like the usual Brady, but this is definitely one of those opportunities that he has to bounce back. And very rarely in his career, Brady, continues on this sort of string of negative results. What sort of game are you expecting, your Luca, between these two teams that overall have had their ups and downs this season?
Yes, I'm expecting a close one. I think actually both of these teams are better than their record indicates. They've just been really inconsistent down the stretch, and they failed to pick up like key important wins. In reality, this Vikings offense on paper is just fantastic. You know, Kirk Cousins has so many weapons. Dalvin Cook, I think he's one of the top three backs in the league, right there with Kamara and Henry. Justin Jefferson, breakout season as a rookie. This guy's the best rookie wide receiver in the league. And then you have Adam Thielen. What more could you ask for? I think the real issue offensively here is Kirk Cousins and his inconsistent play. If they just had a bit more consistency at quarterback, I think this team would be one of the best in the league, really. And it's a shame that they can't, you know, um, really be consistent. But one thing I do like about this team is that they do keep a balanced offense, which keeps the defensive team on their toes. And an interesting, story to keep an eye on is going to be how Dalvin Cook faces against the Tampa Bay, very, elite rush defense. They have the least rushing yards allowed in the league, and I think that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. And on the Tampa Bay side of the ball, I think one story that I was really sad to see this year is the absence of Chris Godwin in any way. He's been just hampered through injuries, and Tom Brady has had to rely on Mike Evans to score points. And I think with Godwin healthy here, I think they can end the season strong, and it just gives that extra option for Brady to look for. So I think this could be a really interesting game.
Yeah, overall, I also agree that on the fact that this is a lot tighter than many people are expecting it to be. Taking a look at the lines as well. Currently, the current line is set at -7.5 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and to be honest with you, in these sort of games where anything could sort of happen one way or another, I think this is a game that is a lot closer than it looks, and it's risky business if you're touching that spread, in my opinion, especially on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because the Vikings technically have been the more informed team at the moment, and this is a team that can still win games at any given week. You also made a very good point there in terms of the rushing yards allowed for the Tampa Bay side. Definitely one of the league's elite defensive teams. Um, Mostly in rushing, not too much in passing. That is. However, given the fact that this Minnesota side uh, heavily relies also on their rushing play. This is one to watch, definitely one to watch, and we'll have to see how this Buccaneers side come back after two straight losses. Will they be able to get a win here at their home stadium and get closer to that playoff clinch, or will the Minnesota Vikings pull another upset here? So definitely be an interesting one to watch. In terms of the pick and prediction in this one, guys, we prefer not touching any of these two teams. Instead, we're going to go with the total. The total line right now is set at 52, 52 and a half. We personally got it at 52 and a half. And I've seen a lot of action on the over. I'll be honest with you guys. And usually, when it comes to these two sort of teams, you're expecting points. However, I'm interested to see how these two defenses actually reply back in this one. I think a key factor of this game would be how these teams end up in terms of possession. Of course, these two teams don't rank best in possessions anywhere close to the top of the elite teams. I think, though, this would be a game that they need to keep as much possession as possible if they want to get a win out of this one. So I'm expecting this total to actually be under 52 and a half, and that's what we're going to go with. So under 52 and a half is our play in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minnesota Vikings matchup. Now we'll be looking at the second game of this video, and that is, of course, probably one of the marquee matchups of the week, if not of the season. The Buffalo Bills hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into this one with an 11-1 record, um, finally losing their first game of the season last week against the Washington football team, and not many people were expecting that. However, it was bound to happen that the Steelers team was going to lose one game sooner rather than later. They've been getting the wins at the end of the day, but it wasn't always in the most convincing of ways. And we kind of mentioned that several times there, Luca, already. Whereas as Buffalo Bills side as well, they've been looking really, really great. Currently sitting 9-3. Josh Allen has been the heart and soul of this team, really, and he's led this team to many, many wins this season. Of course, both teams still technically haven't clinched the playoffs. However, we're both expecting them, obviously, with those sort of records, to make that happen in the next week or so. What sort of game are you expecting, your Luca? Of course, such a tight game on paper once again, but does one team have the edge over the other here?
Yes, I think the Steelers team has shocked so many people this year, and a lot of people like talk about ease of schedule, and I'm gonna have to agree. I think the Steelers have had a really easy schedule this year, and I think their stats don't really represent how elite they people really think they are. And I think this Buffalo Bills team is gonna be a good test to measure like how legitimate this title contender is right now. Can they win a Super Bowl? And the way their defense is playing, it looks this way. And their offense, it's been good. Ben Roethlisberger does a great job of really using all his targets and utilizing every single person, on the field. He doesn't just stick to one wide receiver. One thing I think the Steelers could benefit from is just getting more out of James Conner. He hasn't had a great year at running back, and I think if they could, gain some more rushing yards, they currently rank 29th in the league in rushing yards gained, and the fact that they can rely on the run is going to hurt them down the stretch if they don't solve this before the playoffs. It's going to be ugly here, and I'm really a big fan of this Bills team. I think I want to see them do well. As you said, Josh Allen, the heart and soul of this team. You just watch this team and you can't help but root for them. They've got some great wide receivers. Once again, a team that doesn't really establish the run too much. But one thing to keep an eye on is although their defense hasn't ranked well all year, they have been playing better in recent games, and I think they're reaching their form of last season, when they were one of the top ranked defenses. So a Pittsburgh side that struggled last week can run into some problems against a defensive core that's really heating up for the Bills. So I'm going, I could see the Bills taking this one.
I'm on the same side as you here, Luca, and like we mentioned many times, I think the Steelers side definitely has the easier of schedules between the two. Yes, you can definitely take a look at the stats and you can see how Pittsburgh is currently ranking better in most categories than the Bills. And of course, that's not always reflective of the teams that they've
Mhm,
played, right? So that's something that we have to keep an eye on. Um, what's going to be interesting to see here is how the Steelers, which are one of the teams that holds the most possession in the leagues, currently ranking fourth, distributes that ball. How they're going to get past this Buffalo defense that, at times, even though, like we said, they don't rank the best in the league, have looked quite invincible themselves. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these two teams go at it against each other. Like I said, I'm on the same side as you here, Luca, with when it comes to the Bills. We actually had them earlier in the week when they faced the 49ers, and I was very impressed. I was very impressed with what they did. Josh Allen is definitely one of those mobile quarterbacks that can definitely get the game going for his team. Either if they're down or they're up, it's a team that doesn't lose concentration. And in my opinion, the football team, the Washington football team, definitely exposed the Steelers team last game around. And I think they will encounter some problems here. But Buffalo Bills is the game is a team that we're going with in this game. Currently, you can get them at a -2 line, which is quite good. I mean, in terms of the close matchup that these two teams are expected to have, but I'm definitely going with Buffalo Bills -2, and that's going to be our pick for the Sunday night football matchup here. I just see Buffalo having that edge. But let us know, guys, in the comments section below if you're tailing any of these two games. Are you personally going with any other game on this Sunday night? Or are you looking at any other result or any other team that interests you? We want to know all about it in the comment section, guys. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, you can find that subscribe button also in the bottom right hand corner. It'll definitely help us a lot and in creating more content. Without further ado, we'll catch you guys tomorrow for some Monday night football. Of course, good luck with your bets and best of luck today. Have a good day, guys.